Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Just played Wake Island for about 8 hours, and I'm here to tell you all about this brand new update. Everything from the modes to the new weapons, attachments, new bugs they reintroduced back into the game because, well, we can't have an update where that doesn't happen, you know what I mean? And of course the good stuff too. There's a lot of stuff to talk about in this video. So, if you guys enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and swing by the streams. I have exclusive Twitch drops, ladies and gentlemen, today and tomorrow. I will be live, so if you don't have your drops, swing by twitch.tv/enders. I will probably be live for another 8 to 10 hours tomorrow as well, because I'm just a fucking chud. Alright, Top Gun update. What do I think about it? There will be timestamps left in the description for your viewing pleasure. First things first, I just have to say up front, I don't seek out to be negative about anything. Like, I was so open to the possibility that I'd be wonderfully surprised by this update, even though the patch notes were objectively disappointing, and that was confirmed by essentially anyone that has the ability to read. But I left the doors open for Wake Island to impress me, even though I disagreed with the selection of the map to begin with. So I suppose we'll talk about Wake Island first. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. It's mediocre. It's very, very mediocre, okay? And I'm being very polite about this. Conquest is absolutely the best experience on Wake Island, and that makes a ton of sense, because Conquest Assault was the original intended mode for Wake Island, and Conquest is not quite Conquest Assault, but it's pretty close, so therefore Wake Island plays the best on that mode. When it comes to escalation and breakthrough, they just feel really forced, kind of shoehorned in there, if you know what I mean. And that also makes a lot of sense because Wake Island was never meant to support these other game modes. And I was talking to Gravity, who some of you might know. I consider him to be like a Battlefield historian and wizard. And he was telling me that if the map doesn't traditionally support the modes they're trying to force onto it, they shouldn't force the modes onto it to begin with and just relegate the map to the modes that it was originally intended for. And I couldn't agree more, but I do understand why DICE is trying to make these maps playable on more modes than just one, but in the end, the experience is heavily sacrificed. Take this unedited, real, by the way, screenshot from Escalation on Wake Island. Once again, this is a real image, and I don't even think I need to explain what's wrong here. You can't just slap on 500 vehicles on a map and expect it to play well. So Escalation, in my opinion, is unplayable with a capital U. And when it comes to Breakthrough, you would think that Breakthrough would play a little better because, of course, Wake Island is a U-shaped island, and you can make a linear game mode work because you can make the sectors flow throughout that entire island. Breakthrough, in my opinion, is the second best experience on the map. However, I do think Breakthrough is significantly rougher than the Conquest experience. The last sector is almost impossible to capture, and I do feel like, and I'm going to piss people off with this, but, you know, hey, listen, just hear me out for a second. There are too many attack boats available on Breakthrough Wake Island, and dare I say there are just too many vehicles available on the map. In certain scenarios playing Breakthrough, the vehicle discrepancy between the attackers and the defenders felt really suffocating, and that led to teams struggling and stalling out in record time. Another massive topic of conversation regarding Breakthrough is the zip lines on the attacking side. The world's longest combination of zip lines have been attracting some criticism, and I'm here to explain to you why this is essentially DICE's only option, unfortunately. So here's my wondrous rendition of the zipline coming from the aircraft carrier to the beach of the first sector of Wake Island. And this is done very deliberately because, as you can see, the distance the attackers have to cross via the zipline is longer than the distance the defenders have to cross in order to defend the points, which means the defenders will get there before the attackers, which is how the map should work in the first place. Now, a lot of people are wondering, why don't they just move the HQ to right about here? The answer to that is, Wake Island does not leave them room to move these objectives and their HQ around to a different location. They basically have no room to actually rework this if we're being realistic, and I'm not even kidding, this is actually the best thing they could have done, which is crazy, But if you just think about it real quick, like, where would they even move one of these objectives? Like, there's nothing here that can be considered an objective. And if you were to take B and move it over here, you'd have to take the HQ and move it over here, but you can't do that because this is the other sector's point. So it's just basically screwed, and they needed a way to delay the attackers getting to the beach so that the defenders could actually defend the objectives here in time. And a lot of people are wondering, well, why don't you just take a bunch of these vehicles and add like 20 more rib boats? You can't do that. You can't have a vehicle per person. You can't have, 15 jet skis, or else, one boat goes over here and one boat goes over there and one boat goes over. It's just impossible to keep track of what's going on, and then you have no infantry on the beach to actually push up, and basically, it would play like shit. So those are my extended thoughts on Wake Island. Now moving on to talking about some of the other modes. I think Carrier Strike is actually pretty fun. I played it quite a bit, and I felt it was one of the better experiences in this update for sure. However, people are critiquing it for only being available on Sugar Reef, and I agree with them. I don't really understand what they were doing with this, because I think a lot of people expected Carrier Assault to be available on Wake Island as well, but it isn't. And then the other limited time mode is like the Top Gun mode, right? And that is essentially just air superiority. It's a fun time, jump in it and get in the jets. The next thing I want to talk about is the brand new ADS dispersion crosshair they added, which I think is actually one of the best things they've ever added to Battlefield, and it will help players a lot. I will zoom in on my sight, but as you can see, as I'm moving, there's a little bit of, spread there. You can see the moving spread, and if I jump, it shows the jumping accuracy, and when I mag dump, you can see the longer I hold the trigger down without bursting, the more inaccurate I become. If you want to turn this on, it is in Options. Never mind, this is still bugged. Oh my, this menu's holding me hostage. Okay. If you want to turn this on, it is in Options, HUD, scroll down, Crosshair, and it's on firing range only by default. However, you can turn it on to basically enable it in multiplayer matches so it is always visible. If you're one of those people that is like, I don't know where my bullets are going, turn this on immediately, okay? It will help you, I promise you. Now, there's also something they added to the game, but this time it isn't intended, guys. So, this is the Broad 3, I'm just going to shoot it, right? You can see it has spread. It's showing you it, right? The crosshair. What if I told you they re-added the match trigger bug back to the game, and it deletes spread from the weapon? And we can actually visualize the bug happening, because you can see I can mag dump this, right? And the crosshair does not show any sort of spread increase at all. And this is the same match trigger bug that was apparently fixed, but in this update they re-added it to the game, and yes, it is also on the EF88. So, I'm not sure how this is happening, but re-adding bugs to the game seems to be a fairly consistent theme with Battlefield 6. DICE, please fix. Next up, I want to talk about the brand new sniper rifle, the Interdictor. Now, you unlock this via the Event tab here, and you can literally just buy it, and I don't even think it costs that much, so that's pretty cool. It's via the Top Gun event. Unfortunately, this is the worst sniper rifle in the entire game. And it just really doesn't have anything going for it, guys. 31 rate of fire, so I believe it is the slowest rate of fire of any bolt action in the entire game. It has a lower muzzle velocity than the Mini Scout, the L115, the M2010 ESR, and it is just barely higher than the SV98 and PSR. However, the real nail in the coffin here is the fact that this weapon does not have a ADS bolt, and it's a bullpup bolt action rifle, so that probably makes sense. However, from a meta perspective, and just this gun being good perspective, that basically just kills it. It means that you cannot rechamber around while you are in your scope. You have to un-ADS in order to rechamber around, whereas with other sniper rifles, like the L115, you can just stay in ADS and get way faster follow-up shots. Another thing I want to mention are the brand new suppressors, and they are very, very expensive, guys, and a lot of people didn't even know they were adding these, including myself. So they added 3 new suppressors, the Hybrid Suppressor L, the Hybrid Suppressor S, and the Hybrid Suppressor K. Now you might notice This suppressor costs 50 points. It better be good, and they are good. The 30-point suppressor, as far as I can tell, is essentially a suppressor version of the compensated break. However, it does have massive penalties. So if you look here, it costs you hipfire accuracy, weapon sway, and weapon draw speed. But if you want to use the 40-point suppressor, it takes away the draw speed penalty, and the 50-point suppressor takes away every penalty. So the 50-point suppressor is essentially a suppressed compensated break with absolutely no downsides whatsoever, aside from the fact that it costs 50 points. I've been messing around with a lot of builds with these suppressors, and I still don't really know if they're viable, but if you want to know eventually if they're viable, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I will have a video out updating you guys on all of the builds with all of the new attachments that got added in this update. And the last thing I want to talk about are the brand new two-seater jets. To me, they seem pretty busted if you have a dedicated squad to play with and somebody that is really, really good at communicating. They have double flares, so you can actually flare 2 sets of locks, which is incredibly strong. I didn't get much playtime in them today, but I do plan on trying to get some footage for you guys and maybe making a little bit of a collab video in them with somebody. See if we can't tear up some lobbies in them. They did mess up the jet cam, in my opinion, though. I don't like it at all. I feel like it's very wonky and weird, and that will definitely be showcased in that jet video that I plan to make. And, of course, they added spectator mode in custom lobbies, and this is mostly beneficial for RedSec competitive, which doesn't pertain to most of you, but, well, it is important considering the Elite Series still has to be re-announced. And they did say they were going to re-announce it, and I believe that this is the entire point they added to the spectator mode and custom lobbies to the game in the first place. Overall, there's no getting around it. This update leaves a lot to be desired, particularly on the patch notes side of things, but also in the content side of things. I think Season 5 is going to have to be the best season this game will ever receive, especially if Battlefield 6 wants to remain relevant during all of the late year releases. We do have a lot of things to look forward to when it comes to the future of Battlefield 6 with Season 5. It is confirmed we are getting the server browser in December at this point, if you do the math with some of their statements, and we will also be getting 3 new maps and 2 reworks in Season 5 as well. But content doesn't fix the gameplay, and ladies and gentlemen, they haven't been fixing the gameplay of the game or bug fixing. Funnily enough, this update introduced a bug they already fixed back into the game that they will have to fix a second time. It always seems like with these updates, they take consistent steps back and sort of trample over their own work that they already did in order to try to bug fix the game in the first place. As far as the third part of Season 4 is concerned, it is confirmed that we will be getting the reticle rework that was teased in the Season 4 trailer on September 15th, and DICE just tweeted as of right now, they're actively looking into the invisible grenade indicator issue, which I'm sure we've all died to hundreds of times. But that about does it regarding my first impressions over this update. They still need to hammer out the gameplay issues of Battlefield 6. It still has potential, but recently it's been potential Field 6, and that's all. If they don't realize the potential, then, you know, it just sort of doesn't matter. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to this point, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, let me know your thoughts and your experiences playing this today in the comments section. Swing by the stream for those exclusive Twitch drops on twitch.tv/enders, and also I stream on this YouTube channel every single day as well. Check out the second channel. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I see a lot. Ton of below us, like 5 below us, yeah. To give it shortly. Go.
short here.